We're being joined today by folks from Marshall Academy. We're going to talk a little bit about a special teaching approach that is being adopted by Marshall Academy, and we'll explain that coming up in just a second. Brent Swan is here, headmaster there as well, and also joining us today, Laura, I set your name aside, and I don't have your last name. Here it is. Koziarsky, right? Did I say that right? Koziarsky. I need better bifocals, I think. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having us, Richard.
That's the point, is that we want to talk a little bit about something called an integrated learning approach. But before we get to that, let's just talk about Marshall Academy in general for a second. If folks are unfamiliar with Marshall Academy, Brent, how do you tell them what it's about?
Yeah, Marshall Academy is a K-12 charter school on the southeast side of Marshall.
Mm-hmm.
We're right out kind of in the middle of rural area, cornfields on each side of us. Very nice setting, very serene. We serve about 260 students at Marshall Academy.
Mm-hmm.
Great staff, great parents involvement, but great culture for all the kids that go there. 260
students. What's the age range there?
Well, yeah, we go anywhere from kindergarten all the way through. We've got seniors getting ready to graduate.
Okay. All right. So that's quite a range of ages. But this is typical for a charter school, isn't it, this whole range?
Yeah. We are a family atmosphere at Marshall Academy. Under the same roof, we have 5-year-olds all the way to 18-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
So. But we make it a family atmosphere. We all take care of each other, and it's just a great place to be.
All right. Well, let's talk about what the integrated learning approach is. And Laura, you're well familiar with this. What does this mean?
Integrated learning approach is a way of dealing with children with certain deficits that aren't typically addressed in the mainstream school setting. Specifically, it's a population of kids with neurologic differences such as autism. And they tend to have problems with independence skills, social skills, relationship skills, and all of those areas are addressed, targeted specifically to each student's needs. They get practice throughout their day in the areas that they have deficits, and it's just basically teaching them things that other kids may just pick up from being with other children. They need to be specifically taught.
I see. That's a way that I have not heard it explained that clears it up quite a bit, helping to understand what that means. So sometimes folks just learn by seeing or being associated with other people who are doing things a certain way, and others of us need some guidance. Is that how you would say it?
Right, and I think where the integrated learning approach takes a different step with that is it actually almost in relation to, it's like a coach. Coaching kids on things that they're strong at and things that they're not strong at, and helping them get better and helping them improve so that they can be in society and function like they could.
Mm-hmm.
There's 4 main areas that we really in the integrated learning approach that we really try to hone in on with students, and one is competence, the professional and academic potential that they have. Independence is another area, developing their organizational skills, social care, the ability to form and maintain relationships, and then belonging is that self-regulation and self-awareness. So we look for where kids are strong at in those areas and where they're weak at, and try to coach them into improvement.
And we'll talk about that more when we come back in just a minute, including a grant that Marshall Academy received in order to conduct this special approach. And that's coming up in just a minute on WBCK 850. We're talking about something called the integrated learning approach with folks from Marshall Academy today. Integrated learning approach, as Laura mentioned, is a special approach that helps students who might be on the autism spectrum, or maybe they have some other differences in the way they learn, and so this is approached that differently. Why is this necessary?
Well, first of all, the children that come to Marshall Academy, and we are a setting that attracts kids because of our smaller setting. We've had many kids on the autism spectrum that have come to us because smaller class sizes, more discipline in the classroom, and so those are very inviting for parents with students that are on the spectrum. And so now if we have this population, we want to be able to serve them as best we could. And
Sure.
that's why we really felt strongly that the need to do something that was going to be powerful in their lives and help them not only achieve academic success, but the bigger goal would be success in life. And that's where the ILA program comes in, that it can really address many different facets and skills that these students need to have a productive life. And that's our goal.
So really, this is the foundation of this idea is simply that some students learn differently than others, and we have to adapt ourselves to that. Is that a fair statement?
Exactly. And I think we've already started to see, right now we're in the middle of a pilot program with 10 students, and it's just going phenomenally well. These 10 students are really benefiting from this coaching that's going on with our teachers, and we are starting to see improvements in them and how they relate to others, their academic success, just their overall organizational skills. That it's really showing the fruits already. So we're very enthused and have plans to roll this out in a bigger way.
So give us an example of how the integrated learning approach might help someone who otherwise was not progressing in a traditional setting.
Laura, you want to take that one?
I will take that.
Okay.
Children with neurologic differences specifically, I'll use them as an example. They tend to not have any organizational skills. They may have average or above average intelligence. It's not a matter of them not being able to do schoolwork, but they can't do the planning. They can't manage their time. They can't remember to do their hygiene.
Wow.
And those are things that if you can't do those, once you get out of high school, you are not going to be successful in college or in the workforce. So Marshall Academy's philosophy is an education for a lifetime of excellence. So knowing that, we have to help these kids be successful after they leave our doors.
And isn't that the point of an education, right?
Right.
To set us up to be successful. In a moment, we'll talk a little bit more about that and how this works. And by the way, a special grant that came through in order to make this possible. So we'll discuss that too, and the whole issue of autism, which gets some attention, and certainly of those of us who even pay half attention to what's in the media, we hear more about it. So we'll discuss that too coming up in a minute. This report. Okay, Brent Swan is here along with Linda Koziarsky. We're talking about the integrated learning approach at Marshall Academy, which we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the notion that this is the first time this has been in a public school setting. Is that a fair way to say this?
Yeah, this approach has been used in many schools across the country, but always been in a private setting. So parents had to pay to go and take their children to benefit from this type of program. We are the first school in the country to offer this tuition free at a public school, and so we are excited about doing this and hope it's a model for other schools to repeat.
And this too by virtue of a grant that you received. Is that not true?
Yes. We've had tremendous community support. Laura can probably speak a little bit more about the impact that's had. But I thank the community that has supported this, from individual donors to family donations to groups that have really stepped up to provide the funding to be able to get the training to teachers and be able to purchase the curriculum. So it's been tremendous, the backing that we've gotten from the community to do this.
Laura, this it probably is worth mentioning. This is an issue that's been close to your heart for a while, and you researched this whole integrated learning approach, didn't you?
Yes, I did. My son was diagnosed with Asperger's at the age of 3 and was not successful in the public school setting. So I started looking around the country and found this program in Texas. So we actually took him down there, and we lived down there for 4 years. So I've lived it. I know that it works. And when we came back, I knew that there had to be a way that we could bring this back to the other kids in our community who weren't as lucky as we were to be able to go.
Sure.
And we've had a lot of community support right from the get-go, and the Battle Creek Community Foundation has really been a great support to us. They've given us 2 grants. The second one was quite significant, and they have just really supported us in this project.
All right. Well, congratulations on all of that and the work you've done to bring it here. Someone's listening to this now who either has a child that fits the description you've described, or they know someone who does, and they're going through the struggles that are common in a traditional school setting. What do you say to them here? I mean, I guess there's only so much room, and you try to accommodate as many people as you can, but I suppose this could be an option, right?
Absolutely, and we would invite parents that are looking for something like this to come visit our school. You just have to call us, and we would set up an appointment and have them come out and take a look at Marshall Academy, and if it's the right fit for them. I mean, we're 100% school of choice, so every parent has chosen to put their child or children in our school. So that's a choice that's there for parents.
Mm-hmm. And we'll tell you that number here in just a moment. When we talk about schools these days, so much of the time we spend is focused on how difficult it is to keep schools going and districts going in the traditional sense. Battle Creek struggles with that. Certainly Detroit, the Albion school story that has been so prominent recently. Has that affected your enrollment, the Albion situation?
Yeah, we have a significant population from Albion that already attends Marshall Academy. Most of our students come, of course, from the Marshall area, but we have students from Battle Creek, from Olivet, from as far as Charlotte, that come to our school. So we really draw a wide amount of kids from a wide geographic area. But that landscape, I think, in this school of choice culture, I think puts a lot of options there for parents, and I think that's good that parents have the ability to say, this environment is the best place for my child, and that's where I choose to put them, and they have that option.
One of the challenges of schools is transportation and getting children to school. So presumably there's somebody listening to this who'd say, I would love to have my child go there. I just got to get him there. Is that a challenge for charters to be able to accommodate that?
Yeah, in some ways. We actually have just begun some efforts to provide transportation for parents. We currently have 2 buses that go to Albion to bridge that gap there a little bit, and we're looking next year at providing busing from the Battle Creek area to Marshall Academy too. Okay. So yeah, that's definitely one of the difficulties of students, and so we realize that, and we're trying to impact that and make that happen for families.
Well, if you're interested in more information on the integrated learning approach or Marshall Academy, here's the number. Where do folks call?
Yeah, just call 269-781-6330.
Okay, 781-6330. Thanks to the both of you for bringing this to our attention today, and best of luck with this.
Thank you, Richard, for having us.
Thank you for having us.
We appreciate that. 8:20.